Hi everyone, welcome to Hilltop View Journals and welcome to day 25 of the August Junk Journal collaboration hosted by Raindrop Lila, and day 25 is my day. We're also combining it with day 22 Scrappy Pad, so let me show you what I have made. This is my Scrappy Pad and I have used a technique called Momigami. And it's a very easy technique, and Caroline Webley is the artist that I have been following. So she's been recently doing some YouTube shorts and Instagram reels on this technique. There are a couple of ways of doing it. It's a Japanese technique and it turns paper into like a soft fabric style or fabric feeling kind of paper. It's really nice, it's really soft. I'm going to be using hand lotion. You can use quite a few different things. You can use baby oil, you can use oil that you've got in your kitchens like olive oil or rapeseed oil. You can also use hair conditioner as well, and there's also another type of product that you can buy online, and I knew I'd forget the name again, but I will put I'll put some information on the screen on the name of that as well, and that turns like into a starchy sludgy kind of stuff that you can paint on, leave to dry, and then you can create this Momigami paper, and it's lovely. I love it. So I've just created a really scrappy pad. I'm going to use this for journaling, so it's got very plain pages in there. I may do a little bit of decorating along the way, and the cover has got two large pockets in there so I can fit some tags, and I'll probably shove some more goodies in there as well. And I made it this size so that it matches the main journal, and I was going to do something like maybe tie them together or just keep them together anyway, so that my journaling can go along with what we've been making over the last couple of weeks on the other prompts. So this is what we're going to make. Now, I had a bit of an issue with my video, so you're going to see most of the video shot from the side, which isn't how I normally do my YouTube videos, and I do apologise for that, but I had some technical difficulties with the camera that is showing you what image you're looking at now, which is from the top. So you're going to see something from the side. Hopefully it doesn't distract too much. You can definitely see the technique that or certainly follow me along as I make my scrappy pad. But I'm going to repeat the Momigami bit because that didn't quite look right on the video at the time. And I used 2 bits of Momigami paper, so I've got some examples here, and what I wanted to show you the difference with some of them, because they do look quite different. And these top ones here are following the technique that I'm going to show you, and you'll see that there's not much apart from the creases, the natural creases that you get. You can't see much else coming through, or the fibres of the paper aren't really damaged. This one you can start to see it, and if I turn it round you can see it there, so you might like that version. Here's another piece that's really quite damaged as such, and here as well you can see that the fibres have started to break, and I think that's the way I put the cream onto the paper. So I'm going to show you a way of avoiding that, but if you do want that type of distressed look, then what you can do is miss some of the paper out with the cream on your hands and only cover part of it, or scrumple it up before you put the hand cream on there, and then you'll get those types of markings. And also then here I use baby oil, so you can see it's very different, but I do love this side here, which is a digital print of just plain coffee dyed paper, and it turned out lovely. But you can see it's a bit translucent in places, which is where the baby oil went in, but it's not I can't feel any baby oil on it. This is baby oil as well. I thought it was a bit more prone to actually ripping with the baby oil. I haven't tried other types of oil, so I will link Caroline Webley's Instagram account in the description box, so you can have a look at the different techniques that she demonstrates, so you can make a decision then. And it is very much about trial and error, seeing what works well for you, and just practicing. That's what you need to do. You need to practice. So I'm going to show you now how to do this manipulation of the paper to get this lovely fabric feeling crunchy texture for a journal cover. You can use any type of paper. You can use brown paper, you can use book pages, you can use wrapping paper, cardstock, anything you like. Parchment paper, tissue paper, it all works with this technique. And you may want to have double-sided, because then that's really handy and you don't have to, well, you'll see in the video that I had to actually distress the inside so that where the pockets are, you know, you could see the white there. So I distressed the edges. You won't have to do that if you've got double-sided, but this is a single-sided piece of paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the white side, and I'm just going to use some hand cream, nothing special. And I am linking a few videos in the description box of the videos that I watched on this, and each person has their own sort of technique really, and I think you've got to find the right technique for you. But the way I found best to do this is to rub it into my hands and then just start rubbing it on the paper. You have to excuse, I've got dog hair everywhere here, sorry about that. And I'm sort of focusing on the middle and just rubbing it outwards. And I then will go and do a little bit on the outer bits as well. And just get a fairly even layer there of hand cream. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. It's good to use up hand cream actually, because I've got bottles and bottles of it. I think it's like a typical gift, isn't it? When somebody doesn't know what to buy, they buy you nice hand cream. And I don't mind that at all. I like nice hand cream. I do use it. But I've probably got about 15 bottles of it. So I'll be doing this technique a lot more. I'm definitely going to be making some journals. Some larger journals using this technique because it's so much fun. Okay, so that's spread quite evenly. And then what you want to do is really start rubbing it into the paper. Now, I haven't found any issues with this inkjet paper. This paper is so like a medium weight. So if you think in the UK the standard copier paper, thin copier paper is around 70 to 80 GSM. This is 140 GSM and it's photo matte paper. So it's not smudging at all. It's really doesn't mind having this on there. And what you want to do is keep on rubbing this all over until your hands almost sort of slide over it, and you'll be able to feel the difference in the paper. It does take a little while, but I found this really does give a nice protection to the paper. You can see there's quite a bit of a shine to it, so you want to get it on the edges as well. And that's really nice and shiny. And then what you do is you start to manipulate it. Now, of course, you could leave it like that. I mean, it probably would dry quite well. But this is where you manipulate the paper. So I usually start off on the corners. I'm just going to rub my hands. There you go. Right, start on the corners. And you're just basically crumpling. You want to try and be gentle. And I'm just going to roll this now and crumple and roll here. And then the secret is to keep on rolling it out and starting again. So I'm going to do it the opposite way now. So I'm going to crumple it this way, like this. And then I'm going to start to roll it into a ball. And then you just keep on doing this over and over. Probably about 7 or 8 times. Just as much as you can, really. As much as your hands will take. Obviously, the more you crumple it, the more likely it is to rip. But the more of a lovely texture you get. And you do need to keep on opening it up and then crumpling it. So. And then you start to feel a lovely texture. Brown paper works really well. You can get a really nice texture with that, and it turns out really quite scrappy and grungy. Good exercise for your hands. Of course, if you are somebody who struggles with arthritis, then you may want to get someone to do the initial scrunching so that you don't wear your hands out too much. Or certainly take it easy and just do a little bit at a time and then come back to it. So you can see I've got a little bit of a rip there, but it just adds to all the texture. And you can see there's no white bits coming through. That's because I put the hand cream quite evenly on it. And you can just do this as many times as you want. And one of the videos I'm going to share, they used water. Now, I don't know if water would cause issues with a digital kit. I'm sure it would, actually. But water is certainly a technique that you could use on cardstock or wrapping paper or something like that. So there you go. So that is basically it. And I think I've got another version here. So this one is dried. So you want to leave it for a little while to dry. And before you use it, because you can see this is slightly, I can feel it anyway, that one is a lot rougher, I'd say, whereas this is a lot smoother. And of course it will depend on how much hand cream you use, what paper you use, what printer you've used, and what colours you print on there as well. And the other thing you can do, which I haven't tried yet, is you can use your gel prints, and it works particularly well with different types of acrylics. So you could just do a sheet of paper with all different types of acrylics, let it dry, and then do this technique. I don't think you even have to add the cream on that. So that is the very basic technique of Momigami. And once you've done a couple of sheets, you can then join me and we can make this scrappy little pad together. I'm going to create the pages part of my scrappy pad now, and I'm going to use this. I don't want it bigger than this. So I've got some book pages, mulberry paper, music paper. I won't be putting too much of that in because I want to use this to write in, so it's going to be my daily journal. And this is the book page that I tried to scrunch in, and yeah, that worked really well. So, but you do need to use something that's not too delicate, because I think it will just rip in your hands. I've got some of Lidia's Blessing 2 background pages. So it's just a couple there that I know I can write over the patterns, because they're quite delicate. And then I've got some tea-dyed paper, and this is tea-dyed cream-coloured copier paper, which is how you get that nice aged look. And what I thought I'd do is just use one of these pages and get a general idea of the size and kind of guesstimate. So it needs to be smaller than that and smaller than that. No measuring necessary. I'm going to tear the pages, but I do want them to be kind of straight, so I'll use the marks on my board. And I've got a tear ruler here, and so I'm just going to tear down there and tear down there, make it a little bit smaller. So that gives me the template of the size of the pages. So let's then gather some pages. Definitely want some mulberry paper. Oh, actually these are joined together. Let me just grab some pages that aren't, right, these aren't joined together, so that's perfect. So, oops, let's have another one of those. And that, and that. And another one of these. I'm not going to make it too big. And maybe, let's see, some pattern paper will go well. Maybe one more sheet there. That will do nicely. And then just going to sort of tidy them up a little bit. Pop that on the bottom there. And rip away. So again, these pages can be different sizes. So I can see I've got to take at least this amount off. So that. And let's make this one a little bit more. So you can create texture in the pages. So So let's see. Okay, so let's take this a bit further in again. And lots of mess. Right, now I've got a feeling that this is going to be too wide, so it may need ripping on the other side. That's okay, I can easily remedy that. So I'm just going to fold this in half now. So yeah, it definitely looks too wide to me. Let's get my book back. Yeah, it is. So what I want to do is fold this so it's about the right size, and then I've just got one side to rip then. Now, all my pages have gone jumbled up, but hey, it's fine. It really doesn't matter. That does need ripping. I'll just take that down a little bit. My Taith y Prerin. Welsh story, biblical story. Okay, it's looking better. Let's have a measure. Perfect. We got there in the end. So I'm thinking I'd love to be able to tuck this in there, but you know, I don't think it's going to work. I think by the time I finish all the prompts, this is going to be such a stuffed mama that, yeah, she's going to be bursting all over the place. So I'll probably keep it and tie it to the front door, to the back, something like that. But I'm going to write in it anyway. So I'll be keeping the cover really plain for now. It does get a bit cumbersome when I'm writing in it and there's lots of embellishment. So I do like to keep that like that. And so I definitely want to use this one. And I've got two of them. So I can mix and match, and it's really interesting. I don't think it'll show up on the camera, but I can see such a difference in the print. You can really tell between that one and that one. And I don't know why, because it's the same paper, same image. Maybe I used different settings. Maybe I used, because I've got two printers, maybe I used a different printer on each. But the printers are exactly the same, so I don't know why it would do that. But anyway, it's quite a difference there, which is quite interesting. Could be down to the cream. Yeah, anything. That actually fits quite well. So I only need one sheet. I thought I might need a couple of sheets, so I don't. And what I could do then is I could put another one on the other side, which I think would look really nice. Or I could use fabric. Now, I was going to use fabric, that's what the plan was, but now I'm thinking, no, I don't want to use fabric. I actually would like to use that on the inside. I think that would be really pretty. And the other thing I'm thinking is that I could leave the tops open so that I can have pockets. So not actually glue inside, just glue around the edge. So I think that might be a nice idea as well. So let's go with that. Oh, right, first thing I need to do is I need to cut this into shape. So I want to go into the middle there. Let's do one first, because this one I can just use the edge. It's got to be slightly bigger. So slightly bigger than the paper, and I'm going to give a go. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut it with a knife. I got a feeling it might not go through. We'll give it a go and see. So it needs to be about there. Let's pop that out. Let's see. It definitely feels different. Yeah, see, it rips a little bit. So I think you'd probably be better off using scissors. So you can't, it's very difficult to get it in a straight line. So let's snip where I need to scissor it, which is about there. I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. I cannot cut straight with scissors. Okay, that's about a good size, I think. And we may end up putting some trim and things on this, so I'm happy with that. And then I need to pop that in the middle, because I obviously want to get as much of the beautiful image as I can. So that's not going to be exact. You definitely won't be able to get exact, and as you fold it, it's going to change shape anyway. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go round the edges and distress them, which you wouldn't have to do if you had printed double-sided. I didn't, so I'm going to have to distress them. I've cut this piece a little bit smaller than this, so that I don't have the problem of overlapping when it folds. So it's going to look really scrappy because obviously it doesn't match exactly, but I think that'll look nice. And I've distressed this one a little bit more with a darker ground espresso, and I've gone round the edge there, and you can see it creates even more texture, so I wanted to show you that. So I'm using a round domed head on this, and just lightly going over it, and then it brings out, it sort of accentuates the creases of the page. So if you like it grungy like I do, okay. Fantastic. So that will go in there like that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the sewing machine, and I'm going to put some stitching along here so it looks like it's patchwork. Then I'm going to stitch along the top there and there, and then I'll be putting this and that together, and I'll be stitching all the way around like that to make the actual journal cover, and I'll have the tops open then for some tags. I think it goes without saying that gluing the two pieces together and being done with it would be far easier than trying to stitch and create pockets. So you don't have to do this, but you know, I've got a nice little pocket there. It's just an idea. I just thought I'd make use of it, because when you join two things together, you've always got the middle bit. I've left the strings on. I think this would look fantastic with black, but black wouldn't go with my other journal. Let's grab my journal. I wanted to try and keep it similar to this, and obviously we've got the same kind of thing going on there, the same patterns, so it doesn't stick out too much as being really different to this. So I'm happy with that. Left lots and lots of strings, lots of tails, so that it certainly meets the criteria of Scrappy, but also that creates texture as well. So I think it goes really nice with the whole vibe that's going on here. And all I need to do now is bind it and find my tags, which I think are hidden here somewhere. I think I made 3 tags, but I'll obviously make some more tags as I go through the challenge. And, you know, so they will fit nicely then in there like that. And that one can go in there like that, because that's got a back to it. So yeah, so that's the idea anyway. Okay, so let's start with our binding. Before I bind, I'm going to paint this spare piece with some matte glue. You could use Mod Podge, matte medium. Now I don't know how it's going to react to whatever I've done to this, so but the idea is that it could protect it even further and give you a nice finish. So I'm going to give it a go just to see how it will work. I think that's going to be a bit rough. It probably needs some kind of brush. No, I'll try this, see how it goes. And I'll leave this to dry. I don't want to try it on my cover just in case it goes horribly wrong. But you might want to protect your journal cover. I'm pretty certain Mod Podge will work perfectly fine, or watered down PVA glue. This will certainly make it stronger. It doesn't seem to be smudging, so that's good. It does flatten the paper a bit, which you might find useful. So I left this dry for a couple of hours, and I will show you what it looks like at the end of the video. So that's just an idea as well. If you're going to be taking your scrappy pad somewhere and it needs to be protected. That is one thing about using an inkjet printer, is you've always got that risk of the ink smudging. Okay, so I've got wax thread here, needle, my awl, and I'm going to measure 1, 2 and a bit. I don't really want any dangles or anything, because that will just annoy me when I'm writing, so I'm just going to do enough to be able to stitch. And I am going to guesstimate where the middle is, which is fairly dangerous, but not to worry. This is supposed to be a scrappy pad after all, so we're not looking for perfection here. And I think we're way past that point. And just do a very simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch. That's actually gone a little bit over, so I kind of need to do that again. Seems to want to go in that hole, so I don't really want to go in that hole. That's not looking right. Okay, let's leave that there a second, so I can see where the hole is. Sometimes binding just does not go right. It doesn't matter if you've done it a million times. Sometimes it just does not want to play ball. Please check out different videos on my channel which give a far better demonstration on how to do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Okay, let's get this done. That needs to go on one side and the other tail on the other. Nice and tight. Tie it. It'll be fine. Yes, that looks fine. Nothing to worry about. Okay, so I'm going to snip these off. So you don't need them. Pop my needle back. I've been looking for these 3 items for about 2 weeks. No word of a lie, I've searched high and low, and they were just in the corner of the desk there, just out of eyesight. Unbelievable. And instead of feeling relieved that I found them, I'm just annoyed with myself. Okay, so that's my scrappy pad. Upside down. Wouldn't expect anything less. But I'm happy with that. And what we could do is we could have put some fabric there. See what it looks like. Quite easily stitch or glue that on. That might look quite nice. Might do that actually. Have we got any more suitable fabric here? What have we got? Oh, I've only got small bits. Yeah, so I've got 2 bits of fabric. So what I'll do is I'll stitch these on. I'll stitch them on the inside. I do quite like it on the outside there, but I think it looks better on the inside. Just pop them in there like that. Measure this one, and could actually glue them as well, but we might as well give them a stitch and see how that looks. I think it goes without saying that stitching these on before you bind your journal would be far easier. So that's a note to self. We had fun doing it. that's that side. So it's puckered a little bit, but I don't mind that, but it's something to consider when you're stitching. Probably been a lot easier if I just glued it on as well. So plenty of room in there to play and add things. And I think I will do something on the front. So I've fussy cut this little flower out of Lidia's collection. I'm going to use this book page to create a background. I don't want to cover the back, I don't want to cover the images too much, so I'll just use a small piece. But it does need to make the image stand out. So got a little bit of, I don't really know what this is. I don't think it's muslin. It could be bandage actually. Kind of needs to be stuck down there. Probably something white would look nice as well. But let's stick this down first with a bit of glue stick. Oh, I'll tell you what I want to do first is maybe I'll put it down there, or up there, or there, or even there. I think it goes better there. Yes, I prefer that there. Okay, I need something white. Just got this little piece of lace there, so I would like that in the background. And something like that. That will go just nicely. And I'm just wondering, do I want to do any stitching? It'd be a shame not to, wouldn't it? So I think I'll just stitch around this a little bit. And I might make this a bit smaller so you can see this more. I could put it over there like that, but I think that might be a bit overkill. Well, that's quite nice as well. Yeah, I'll do that. Just going to do some stitching around there. Okay, I've stitched just very quickly, and I'm going to pop this in position with my favourite glue gun. And also glue this in place. And I don't think this will get in the way of writing, so it should be okay. There we go. So that is one very scrappy pad that most definitely needs a little bit more embellishing, but I think for this video, I think that is enough for it to give you an idea of how to create a very quick little notepad. And just let's have a look again at my other journal. So I think they go together. And maybe that will go in the back there. It's looking even more chunky. Let's see if it fits. It's very doubtful it will fit in the back. I don't know, I might be able to get away with it, you never know. Probably is a little bit too big for that. That ship has sailed, but I think it's a lovely way of adding texture, and you can use paper. It turns it almost like fabric, and just gives it such a wonderful feel. So when I pop back on camera now, we'll have a look at what the other piece looks like once it's been covered with some glue to see if it will protect it. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope that the camera angle for the remainder of the video wasn't too off-putting. I do apologise, but I just wasn't able to refilm all of the video, so I've just refilmed the beginning and the ending so that at least you've got a little bit of a view down from the right angle for these. So these are the two journals. So this is obviously my one to date that's so chunky it can barely close, and I've still got quite a few prompts, haven't I? I've got from prompt 26, so 26 to 31, so we've got 26, 27, 28, 29 and 30 pretty much in terms of meeting all the prompts, so that's probably going to be absolutely stuffed senseless by the time I finish. But this one I've left it plain, and I'm going to have some fun inside with this one and probably add some scrappy clusters and things using some of the pages that I've created here. And I've got loads, you know, it's yeah, I went a bit bonkers. And yeah, this is the one that I covered with the matte glue. So you can see it's got a shine to it, but I think if you used a gloss glue, it would be a lot more pronounced. This is available in the range. I don't think you can get it on Amazon, so it's in the range in the UK. I really don't know what it would be in the USA or Canada or any other country. But if you do add some PVA glue or something like Mod Podge, then it does certainly give it some protection and maybe a little bit of waterproofing as well. So that's quite nice. So I think if I was going to do this again, I would probably do that, because I think it does give it just that protection, and it can get bashed about a little bit more. But I'm really pleased with how this turned out, and of course you can make your tags. I've got the tags here, and journaling cards and things, so it does give them loads and loads of texture, and I just think it's a great way of adding texture to your journals and your projects. It's a lot of fun and something that you can just do in the evenings if you're bored, just something, and it exercises your joints and things as well. So yeah, please do give it a go, and I'd love to see your makes, and please comment in down below if you do want to give this a go. Let me know how it turns out for you. And thank you very much for joining me, being patient with my technical difficulties, and I will see you in the next instalment of August Junk Journal collaboration, hosted by the lovely Lidia. And please do have a look at all the other videos. They're all listed in my description box, all the channels, whether it's Instagram or whether it's YouTube. And yeah, please do check out all the other artists who are taking part as well. And I will see you soon. Bye bye for now.